Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel eContent VB. Dear students, today we are talking about new accounting standard that is AS20 earning per share. Before starting the lecture, if you are new to my channel, I request you to please subscribe my channel eContent VB on the YouTube so that you will get the latest and updated videos. So dear friends, earning per share, as you very well know that this term is mostly used while investing into the stock market or while looking at any company's financial performance. So many of the investors they are interested in knowing what is the earning per share of the company. But why it requires a disclosure? The reason is many times there is a some kind of problems whenever disclosing the earning per share. For example, a company's net profit is rupees 5 lakh and number of equity shares are rupees 5 lakh. So at that time we can easily say that earning per share is rupees 5. But next year suppose company's earnings is rupees 6 lakh and out of which company has been decided that 1 lakh has to be distributed as right issue. So in that case from the 6 lakh we will issue 1 lakh rupees as equity shares. So in that case again the next year earning per share will be 5 lakh divided by rupees divided by number of equity shares rupees 1 lakh. So in that case again earning per share will be 5. It means that whenever we compare or we prepare the financial statements of the company, in these financial statements of the company the last year as well as current year's figures will be reflected. So due to right issue 1 lakh rupees even there is an increase in earning per share but it is not being reflected. So to remove such kind of ambiguity between the disclosure requirement, AS20 is being brought into the picture. So dear friends, the basic objective of this accounting standard is to lay down guidelines for calculation of number of shares for finding earning per share so as to maintain the uniformity in calculating the earning per share. So this is the basic of the accounting standard number 20, which will give us a clear picture and guideline about how to calculate the earning per share and what are the different things that need to be taken into account while calculating the earning per share. Now first of all, we'll talk about the basic and diluted earning per share. There are two types of per shares. One is basic per share. For example, total earnings divided by number of equity shares means basic earning per share. And there is second one earning per share that is called as an diluted earning per share. Diluted earning per share means, as you know, there are different types of shares. For example, if convertible equity shares are there, in that case suppose in a year if any of the preference share they are being converted into the equity share, so in that case these equity shares are called as an dilutive potential equity shares. So for them we need to calculate the earning per share which is called as an diluted earning per share. So to calculate the basic earning per share and diluted earning per share, it is required to be presented on the face of the profit and loss account with the prominence for all the period presented. Earning per share is required to be presented even it is negative. It means whether the company's earning per share is positive or negative, it has to be mentioned at the face of the profit and loss account. Basic earning per share should be calculated by dividing net profit or loss for the period divided by equity shareholders. So we will get the basic earning per share. Now in arriving the earnings to equity shareholder, preference dividend for that period and the taxes has to be excluded. It means out of the total profit, for example, whenever company earns the profit, from that profit company has to minus the taxes. So we will get the profit after tax. From the profit after tax we have to minus the dividend or the claims of the preference shareholders, and once the claim of the preference shareholders are minus, then CDT, that is, or DDT, dividend distribution tax, it has to be minus so that whatever the portion is left, that portion will be considered as an earnings per share. So here for calculating the diluted earning per share, net profit or loss to the equity shareholders and the weighted average number of equity shares are adjusted for the effect of dilutive potential equity shares. That is, assuming conversion into equity of all the diluted potential equity. Potential equity shares, they are treated as dilutive when and only when their conversion into equity would result in reduction in profit per share from continuing ordinary operations. The effect of anti-dilutive potential equity shares are to be ignored in the calculating dilutive equity per share. Now, for the purpose of calculating diluted earning per share, net profit or loss for the period to the equity shareholders and the average number of equity shares during that period has to be adjusted for all the dilutive potential equity shares. The amounts of earnings used as numerator for computing basic and diluted earning per share and a reconciliation of those amounts with the profit and loss account statement, the weighted average number of equity shares used as denominator in calculating the basic and diluted EPS, and the reconciliation between the two earning per share and the nominal value of the share along with earning per share are to be figured, and it has to be need to be disclosed. Now if you just look at this figure, the basic objective of this accounting standard is to calculate the earning per share, and as per this accounting standard, what is to be calculated? The basic earning per share, diluted earning per share, it has to be calculated for each class of equity shares that carries different rights to shares in the net profit. Now there are different types of equity shares, for example convertible equity shares and non-convertible equity shares. So in that case, depending upon the type of equity share, we have to calculate the basic as well as dilutive equity earning per share. Now, to calculate the basic earning per share, we are supposed to understand that to calculate basic earning per share, net profit or loss divided by total number of equity shares has to be taken into account. So here, net profit or loss means the profit after tax minus preference dividend plus taxes on distribution, it has to be minus, then whatever portion is left, that portion is called as an earnings available for distribution, and that will be divided by number of equity shares. Second is weighted average number of equity shares of outstanding during the period and the number of equity shares outstanding in the beginning of the period, it has to be taken into account, and after minusing these equity shares from the beginning stock of equity shares, whatever the shares left, that shares are called as number of equity shares brought back or issued during the period multiplied by time weighting factor, because equity shares are being bought and sold during the period of time. So while calculating the earning per share, the equity shares which are to be there on the final date of the finalization of equity per share, it has to be taken into account, and then only it has to be divided by the net profit or loss of that particular accounting period. Second, to calculate the diluted earning per share, we have to take into account the interest and dividend recognized into the period relating to dilutive potential equity shares, including adjustment for change in tax expenses, and after that tax amount of other changes in expenses or income resulting from conversion of dilutive potential equity share has to be taken account. And as far as disclosure is concerned, restatement of basic and diluted earning per share, it has to be disclosed when number of equity or potential equity shares changes due to bonus, right share, split, consolidation of shares after a balance sheet date but before the approval of the financial statement. Earning per share calculation for that period and any period prior to be based on new number of equity shares. Earning per share not to be adjusted for transactions occurring after the balance sheet date and not affecting amount of capital used for earning profits. Now here you can see there are some special transactions because of which the number of equity shares and the earnings of the company get affected. These special considerations are bonus, right, share split, consolidation of shares, options, contingency issued shares, anti-diluted items. So while calculating these things, everything has to be taken into account before the balance sheet date. After the balance sheet date, these points should not be considered. As far as disclosure requirement is concerned, there is some mandatory requirement as per this accounting standard number 20. That is, basic and diluted earning per share, whether it is positive or negative, it has to be disclosed on the face of the profit and loss account. Fact of the change in calculation of earning per share due to bonus or right or any other special consideration, it has to be disclosed separately. Reconciliation of net profit or loss with the numerator. Weighted average number of equity shares for basic and diluted earning per share and their reconciliation with each other, it has to be disclosed separately. Nominal value of the shares along with the earning per share figures has to be disclosed. Now there is some voluntary and recommended disclosures. It is not compulsory. For example, per share amount of various components of net profit, that is profit from ordinary activity, it has to be disclosed separately on the voluntary or recommended basis. Terms and conditions of the contracts generating potential equity shares, it has to be disclosed. A profit and loss account include extraordinary items as per the accounting standard number 5. Then basic and diluted earning per share on the basis of earnings excluding extraordinary items, net of tax expenses, it has to be disclosed separately. And post balance sheet event, it means that anything which is happening after the balance sheet date, it has to be disclosed on a voluntary basis, but it is not compulsory. In short, we can conclude that as per accounting standard number 20, we should be able to understand how to calculate the basic earning per share as well as diluted earning per share. Basic earning per share, to calculate, the formula is earning per share divided by number of equity shares. Here the earnings for shareholders, to calculate this one, a person has to take into account the profit. From that profit, the preferential payment has to be minused, and after minusing the preferential payment, dividend distribution tax, it has to be minus, and whatever portion is left afterward, that portion should be taken into account for calculating or dividing the number of equity shares by the total earnings, so that we can easily get the earning per share. Second, to talk about the diluted equity per share. Diluted equity per share comes when there are certain shares of the company which will potentially be converted into the equity share. So in that case, whenever there is a guarantee that these shares will result into the conversion of equity shares, at that time on these particular diluted shares, we have to calculate the potential earning per share, and that potential earning per share is considered as an diluted earning per share. So if you have any of the query regarding this accounting standard, you can comment me, or you can send me an WhatsApp message, or you can leave your message on the classroom also, so that your suggestions and queries can be understood and they can be solved by me. So if you like this video, please subscribe my channel and share and like this video. Thank you.